I just want to look at this one again about getting the R. So Raimi's was a kind of plant. So this could be an example. What were they? Let's actually see what they were. Raimi's are a plant of the nettle family. Well, okay, hold on. Nettles begin and end with N and S. So what about ettle? What is an ettle? There we go. Scottish purpose. So max purpose is ettle. Inside NS we get nettles. Nice. And Raimi's was here. So that gives us the R. Okay, let's just say we know that these are the W and the U, and so yeah, the point was that those letters moved outward in their words. They either moved to the beginning or the end. I'm gonna put some places, like I'm pretty sure this is gonna be where we get our H from shout. And then we need our U. Suing to using seems kind of glaring. So we've got out W and then... Sorry, no. I have mixed myself up there. This was an A. Oh, right. So we need... I'm just going to undo. No, we need the... This was going to be the A. That's what moved outwards in Wary. And the W had to come from here. So this will come from U. I guess becoming we. Okay. Yeah, don't make that mistake. So... V and then the U here. Now we have outward. D from birdie we expected. There's our U. Where can the R come from? Acre. Acre could be race, so that might be our R. It might not be. There's a lot of options still to come. So we need RGE. So what have we got? Counterfeit coin of Japan will secure one guitar-like instrument there. Don't really see this one. 3, but then there's no space to get the R and the G before it, if that's going to be the E. Maybe not. Chase such Scots thus. No. What one may sign briefly covers round Greek jar. Oh, this G could be sing. That could give us a G. What else have we not solved? Critically examined stories in Italian Hamlet. I'm not sure, I didn't see it. Height continues back for rear. Rear could be rare, and that is a word you see come up in listeners, because if a word is marked specifically in Chambers as being a rare word, it tends to be mentioned in the clue. So I like that. Is this giving us an E? Have something exciting in Spanish Plains. I don't quite see that. Don't see it. Any of them coming here? But we did find a possibility for all 3 letters. I won't necessarily write them just yet because I haven't really thought very thoroughly about that, but I think that's a good... Yeah, I think that's a good situation. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's just look at some more clues, I think, at this point. I had another thought about DOS kept in action here. Inaction could be an anagram indicator. And actually, yeah, looking at it again, DOS kept, if you anagram that, you can get desktop, which is a place that a disk operating system might be used. So, yeah, that actually is straightforward. Okay. I might try and solve some of these ones where we've said the letters are moving. So what about eject society buried in a way of escape? Okay. Could the definition be eject? Society... If society's S... Right, because buried can mean putting S inside something. I think I really thought clearly before about this word. S buried in a way of escape. What's a way of escape? An escape car? No. It needs to begin. We need to begin with N, O, P, Q, or R. N with an S in it to get a jet. O with an S in it to get a jet. Oust. Out. Oh, okay, yeah. The way when you escape, that's the way you go. You go out and put an S in that. You get oust. Oh, that one's actually quite straightforward. Okay. So what about... I want to think about this rare trunks one we just talked about. If that's what this is. A rare word for trunks. Height continues back. It could be an age. Continues. Like continues, like exists, goes on. You know what, potentially is. Turn it is backwards, you get SI, which could give us a plural. This is the thing I'm grappling with, is how do we end with something that this could be a plural, sort of trunks, plural. So SI that could be a plural and plausibly be like a rare form of pluralizing a word. Then we would need height to be the other three letters. What are trunks? They're stems of trees, I guess. Or they're chests of like containers. Or the other kind of chests, right? Bodies, like the trunk of a body. Torso. Oh. Torsos. Torsos. Can they be torsi? Rarely they can be, we are told. Okay, interesting. So rarely the pluralization of torso is torsi. So rare trunks. Right, a tor is a height. It's a kind of hill. So yeah, that was the right track to go down there. So tor and then is backwards. We get rare trunks. Lovely. Okay, let's try and get this last clue. Have something exciting. Have something exciting in Spanish planes. To have something is to own. Have can be abbreviated. Excuse the cat's tail on your screen. Have, own, hold. These don't sound like... Are we getting a Spanish word in the end? Like a Spanish plane? Or tail coming back across your screen? Or is this something in Spanish and the answer is... The definition is just planes? Okay, but either way it's plural, so maybe we can end in S. How can we end in S? Well, Spanish can be... Can Spanish just be S? No, I would have said ES. So something inside ES, but then that doesn't begin with the right letters. We need to begin with U, V, W, X, or Y. Have can be... Okay, V... Let me think about this. Like I've a idea is... So have gets abbreviated to VE. In a contraction. Is VE useful? So VE something S maybe? Ooh, something exciting is a gas. Okay. Does Vegas mean plains? Vegas. In Spain and South America, a low fertile plain is a vega. Nice. So Spanish plains are vegas. VE gas. Nice. I really want to get this short 3-letter thing. I've seen thus come up in crosswords before, and it has different meanings. I'm trying to think what they are. Let me just look up thus in the dictionary. In this or that way, to this degree or extent, accordingly, therefore. Don't know. Oh, I know what I've seen. Sick. S-I-C means thus. Well, chase is to sick, right? Like to sick the dogs in some way. Let me look up sick. S-I-C. It's so or thus. It's also a Scots form of such. So there we go. Chase, such in Scot, and thus. It's a triple definition. Okay, it's a very clever clue. Triple definition for sick. Right, I just had to let the cats out of the room. Another clue I had thoughts about, something I hadn't tried, was this dwarf clue, and this is one where we figure that suing is probably using. So the parsing really sounds like we want a dwarf and use Luxembourg, so use an L instead of a P. I'm a bit confused about what the definition is going to be, but for dwarf, you have the 7 dwarves, and I think a bunch of them have P's in their name. So I thought I would just try some of them and see if we can find the answer through that. So let's see, grumpy, give him an L, yeah, grumly, that is a word. Grumly, oh, so done in a grum way, which is like morose or surly. Doesn't really work for this. Don't see what that could mean here. What do we have? Dopey, so you can have dolly, not a word. Happy, so you can have halpy, not a word. Haply is a word. Haply, where is it? At the bottom. By hap, perhaps. Okay, so perhaps is the definition. That is quite unusual. But yeah, so happy, use an L instead of a P, you get haply. That means perhaps. Interesting. You know what? Something I've been thinking about doing, and I've been kind of putting it off, but I think it's a good idea. Is basically see if we can establish. So I want to start putting stuff in the grid. Can we establish which clues need to go into which length entries? And so I think a good thing to do would be enumerate the lengths of the entries that we've got. So the entries have length. There's a couple of 2s at the bottom, which is interesting. And actually, thinking about it, we have how many 3-letter answers? We've got this one. This one, there was another one. Yeah, and this one, bin. So these 2-letter entries here, which you would never normally see a 2-letter entry, but this is this theme that allows it to happen. Those look like they'll be the 3-letter ones. I just want to see if we can like establish how this all breaks down. So I can see there's an 8 in the middle here. I can't see anything longer than that. So let's just see like 8s, 7s, 6s, 5s, 4s, 3s, and 2s. I might cut this just to save time, but just to see how many we have of each of these. So the 2s, I did a quick look before, and I think there are just 2 of them. 3s, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 3s. Oh, I'll just write here that this is entries. 4s, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them, I think. 5s, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 9 of them. And 6s, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 6s. 7s, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 7s. And then I think I looked and this is the only 8. So just check what that adds up to. 40, which I think is what we expect because we said there were 34 clues and there were 6 unclued entries. And actually, the unclued entries don't get modified when they go into the grid, they're entered in full. So we know, for example, the 8 length unclued entry is going to go in the 8 length entry. I think what I'll do actually, I'm going to say like -1, I don't know, so equals 0. And that's how many more of them we need to fill using clued answers. So the unclued, there's an 8, a 4, a 4, a 5, 7 and another 5, so 2 4s, 2 5s and a 7 at the 8. So take away 1 7, we need 3 7s to be filled. We've got 2 5s, there are 7 of them left, and 2 4s, so there are 9 of them left. And then I want to think about entries. Sorry, not entries, clued answers. So looking at clues, the longest ones are 7s, and that's good because we don't have any other 8 entries that we can put anything in after we put the unclued one in. So I'm just going to count how many 7s. Maybe I'll line them. Actually, no. Let's do it differently. Let's line the 7s up with the 6s. Because that's when most of them are probably going to go. If you have one letter removed, sorry, I think I said, no, there aren't 7s on the longest, 8's the longest. I'm just thinking for a second, wait, something has to go in the 7s. Yeah, so if you remove one letter, then you'll be putting them in an entry that is one shorter than it. But it's possible that you remove more than one letter, and that's why this isn't immediately like obvious where they all go. So I just want to see if we can establish any restrictions on that. So how many 8s are there? Not including the unclued one. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them. Okay, and the 7 length entries can only be filled by, well, the 1 7 length unclued answer and answers which are 8 letters or more, because we need to remove something. So these 3 remaining 7 length entries, 7 length entries have to be filled with the answers to 8 length clues, or 8 length answer clues, with 1 letter removed from each. So that's actually quite helpful. So the moment I let the cat out, she's not scratching on the door to get back in the room. She can wait. So how many 7 length clues are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't count the unclued one. 8, 9. There's 9 of them. Okay, so that means that since all of the 8s have been used up, the 6s are all going to have to come from 7s. So the 6s use up 8 of the 7s. The numbers are getting confusing here. 8 of the 7s, and there's 1 7 left over, which is going to go into a shorter entry, so it's going to need more than 1 letter removed. How many 6 length clues are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, so 6 of that. So the 5 length entries, we need 7 more of them from clues. And we have 7 possibilities. There were 6 6s and we had 1 7 left over. I might kind of summarize what we've got for this. So the 8 length entry is going to be, I don't know, let's write like 1. Or we can do, let's just do it in red. We'll say unclude. So there's going to be 1 unclude entry in the 8s. In the 7s, there's 1 unclude, and there's going to be 3 8-letter answers that supply the contents of those with 1 letter removed. 6-letter entries are all going to be from 7 length answers. 5-letter entries, we said we have 2 unclude, and then we were going to use all 6 of the 6 length entries and the 1 7 length entry. The cat is losing her mind, she wants to come back in the room, so right, wait. So that was the 5 length clues. Now let's looking at 4s. How many 5 length answers will there be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an unclude 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, and another unclude. So 10 of them. So 4s, we've used up all of the longer clues, right? So the 4s, apart from the 2 that are unclude, 9 of them. Is it on screen? I don't think so. Actually, I can see that wherever in the word entries might not be on screen, but you get the idea. Let's just go up here then. So if you're a 4 length entry, we're just saying that you're going to have 2 unclude answers and another 9 from the 5 length clues. Now 3s, how many 4 length answers are there? 1, 2 unclude, 2, 3. Are we 4? So 4 4s. So the 3s are all going to come from these numbers aren't adding up. One sec. How many 4s are there? 1, not the unclude ones. 2, 3. Yeah, 4 of them. So, oh, that's it. There's a 5 left over from before. That's why. So the 3s are all going to be, well, they're going to be all 4 of the 4s and the 1 5 that was left over. And finally, the 2s, all we're left with are the 2 3 length clues. So they're going to be 2 times 3. So actually, that is quite restricted. So yeah, I think we can probably. So a good thing to do in a situation like this, where like you can't sort of conclusively say what's going to go where, is sort of just make some educated guesses based on things that like are already like pretty restricted. And then if things look a bit too serendipitous, that they're fitting together too nicely for it to be coincidence, then you probably stumbled onto the right way of putting things. Sometimes you're wrong, sometimes things have just kind of luckily fit together and they're actually wrong, so maybe more unluckily. But it's a good way to go. Yeah. Okay, so the thing that I'd like to look at is where the bin and sick. We know that they're going to go in these two-letter entries with one letter, left out down here. Yeah, so maybe we'll just try putting them in one way or another and see if anything can kind of fit with them. So, yeah, so let's say this is bin and this is sick. So maybe the N goes into the perimeter from bin, and from sick, maybe the C. In fact, can these combinations even go together in the guy's name? So we're going clockwise. So if can a C have an N coming kind of just after it? This is the only C in Lucas, and it doesn't have an N coming soon after it. So actually, you couldn't have that. So what could come shortly before an N, with it basically being within 3 letters? H-O-J, none of them are in sick. There's an N in Wyndham, N-Y-W, none of them are in sick. There's a couple of N's in Bainon, B-E-Y, they're not in sick. And Y-N-O, they're also not in sick. So actually, that just doesn't work. Okay, so we'll try the next variant. So BN and the I going down into the perimeter. Okay, the only I in his name is in Harris, and the letters before that, A-R-R, and none of them are in sick. So we're ruling things out actually quite quickly. So we'll try B in the perimeter, and if that doesn't work, then we'll just switch sick and bin around. Okay, so we get I-N and a B in the perimeter. So the B's in his name are the only one is in Bainon, and before that is C-A-S. So it could be an S if there are 2 gaps, and gaps will come from unclued entries going there because they get entered normally, nothing goes to the perimeter. So please move. So it's probably more likely to be the C, because that wouldn't require you to specifically have 2 unclued entries going right here. So I'd probably try that first, see if that works. So the C there, and then SI, and this is 7 letters, and we said 7-letter entries. So either it's the unclued 7, or it's one of the 8s with a letter removed. Our 8s are atmology, that won't fit. Insanity, that could fit. You would need to take out either the S or the A from between these letters. Let's try it. Again, if it looks quite coincidental that something fits, there's a good chance it is the right thing. So I don't know what's happening in between. We know the other N must be there because we're told you have to remove all occurrences of a letter. So if there's an N in there, then the other N must also be in there. And then TY. So we're either taking out the S or the A. Okay, potentially. The other thing we can say about this is if it's the C and then a B, it has to be the C from Lucas and the B from Bainon, meaning we need to have the A and the S in between. So we can maybe see if anything fits there. So what have we got here? This is a 5-letter entry. So there are 2 unclued 5s. So, oh no, but this is clued because if this setup is right, this is clued because an A is being taken out. So do we have a 5 which has an A in it and ends with an N? Or I guess could end NA because the A then would be moved out. Yeah, so do we have that? No, I don't mean a 5, I mean a 6. Don't know if we do actually. No, I don't think so. Okay, but that doesn't mean much because there are a load of 6s. I think there's a few we're missing, so that doesn't necessarily like ruin things. What about 4s here? 'Cause there's only what we said there were 4 4s. So okay, no, we said that a 3-length entry is either from a 4 or a 5. What are the 4s and 5s we have that have an I somewhere near the end, I guess? Not looking great. Torsi? But no, that would for a 5 you'd need to remove 2 letters, and you can't from torsi. Oh, Yeti, the very last one. Okay, it could be Yeti. And actually it's 3 letters long and there are no unclued 3s, so we can actually say that after Lucas B, it would need to be an E, and Yeti has an E in it. So let's try that. I'm writing these things in, they could be wrong, but it's just worth following this because often it just turns out that like the things that fit together, there's not actually a lot that can go wrong, and if it fits, it's often right. You'll find in these kinds of puzzles, not always, and I'm sure probably it's going to bite me for saying that, like this is going to go wrong, but we can always backtrack. Okay, now this is a number 3, so we know it's clued. So we know it has to have a letter, which would have to be a U from Lucas. So we'd want a 4 or a 5 that has a U in it and like a T. Oh, we did just come up with oust, so that would fit as like OS. Okay. And actually, okay, here we've got a 6, and there are no unclued 6s, so that means this would have to also have a letter, so it would be the L from Lucas. So that means we know all the 6s come from 7 clues. So do we have a 7 with an L that ends in a Y? Display would fit. Do we have any others? No. Okay. Again, it could be one that I've not solved, it just also happens to fit, but again, it's worth just following it. Like, don't treat coincidences, don't assume things are coincidences. There's a good chance it fits because it's right. And the more things that start fitting together, the more it looks like, you know, the stuff you've done is probably right. Oh, and we said insanity had to be taking an S or an A out. So before Lucas, we have Parks, so this would actually have to be an S. And that means we have an A left in insanity. So 4, so it could be unclued, or it could be from a 5 that has an S and ends in an A. Do we have anything that we could put in there? If not, it's fine. It could be something that's include, or it could be something that we just haven't solved yet. Tessa? Oh no, but you can't just take one S out of Tessa, so that doesn't work. Oh, Vegas. Vegas works because after you take the S out, you do have an A at the end. So let's try putting that in. There's a good chance something we've done so far is wrong, but... Oh, actually, speaking of Tessa, it might go here. So that if that is, then it's either a T or an E that goes out, and we would need an E for parks, so that is pretty plausible. Again, just don't treat these things as coincidences. Try them out. This 5 could be include, but we've got a few letters, so do we have any 6s? Or potentially a 7 that could go there? Ace, no, Aesop's too short. Desktop. Desktop could go there. So if it does, I'm just looking for any other options I don't see. Let's try desktop. So you'd have the D then from SK and T, but we need a K for parks. So we've not actually come across any that need to be what you call them, include entry yet. This 5, do we have something with a V that's going to be useful? We just used Vegas going down. So, and it wouldn't go here anyway because it's the correct length. Okay, I don't know what this is going to be then. Okay, what about this here? I like this because this looks like it's ting, like, and I know we had a word that had an ing at the end. Where was it? Rioting. Can rioting go here? With the N being removed? So an N would make sense if it's on Bainon, but that would probably mean one of these is like blank. You know what, that's actually a bit strange because I've just realised we have 6 unclude entries which are all going to provide kind of a blank space in the perimeter. And the guy has 6 names going in a circle, so you'd kind of have thought that the blanks would separate the names, that act as spaces, but I mean that's not what we've got so far, and at least most of this is going to be right. It's too convenient to not be. So I think that's just not the case. It's a bit disappointing. That would be quite neat, but it might just be a kind of a constraint too far for the setter to make it work, which is fair enough, I think. So we're trying rioting in here, and the N has been removed, so we have riot ig. Interesting. Okay. This is a long one. This is 7. So it's either include or it's an 8. What are our 8s? We've got etymology, insanity we've already used. That's something we don't have. If it's one of them, then the next letter in the guy's name, Lucas Bainon, it would be a Y. Atmology could go there. Let's try that then. That's a really horrible Y. One sec. With that O, so let's do that. Okay, what about this 3? Because 3s come from 4s or 5s and then ending with a G. If it's one of those, in fact, yeah, 3 has to be with a letter coming to the perimeter, so it would. I mean, yeah, this has to be the second N in Bainon, so this would be an O. So something with a G and an O in it. Sago can work. Let's try that. At this point, I'm pretty confident that basically what we've done here is correct. Too much stuff is fitting together, and it's just kind of lucky that we're not running into many entries here that need the clues we've not solved yet. There aren't actually that many we've not solved. Maybe like 7 or 8. So one of these we're thinking is going to have to be unclued, and one of them is going to need an N. This is a 6. There are no unclude 6s, so this should have the N. So do we have a 7 length answer with an N and IA at the end? We do. Utopian. Let's try that one. Oh, actually, this one here as well, that reminds me of what we just solved, Hapley. So if it's that, what comes after Bainon? Harris. Yeah, we need an H. Okay, so that I like. So H, and then we got Apley. And then we're saying that this is unclude. Maybe I'll just like scribble it to like remind us that this needs to be one of the unclude ones. We'll just have to figure out what it is based on the other letters. OO. I don't remember seeing an OO anywhere. Just have a quick look through. No, so it's either something we've not got yet, or it's unclude. Do we have anything with TM in it, apart from etymology, which we've already used? Or T something M that might get taken out? No. Okay. Can't seem to do much with that then. Okay, what about this UT? Do we have I think, yeah, we do have a 5 with UT in it. We had truth. Okay, yeah, so that makes a lot of sense, because then you would have the T and the H, and then the R would go here, which makes sense for Harris. Don't know which R it is. These could both be unclude. Right, so today is tomorrow, and I'm going to carry on with this. I had a couple of thoughts in between recording sessions. One of them was, I noticed I just didn't write the E that we got for the title from one of these clues, this one, where we made rear into rare. So we actually have now the outward U and an E, so there's an R and a G in here. And I think we've already kind of identified where we think they're probably coming from. Another thing I did was I just wrote out, I kind of collected together the lengths of all of the answers we've got. And I've been ticking off the ones we've filled in. I think that's going to be really useful for filling stuff in the grid going forward. Yeah, and the other thing was we kind of glossed over what this actual theme is, like this book that it's about, and it's basically a sci-fi book about humanity kind of moving outwards from Earth and kind of colonizing the solar system and such. And that reminded me that the unclude words, unclude answers in this puzzle are thematic, and we know one of them is here down in this bottom left, so I actually think it seems quite likely that that's Mars, right? So my thinking is, what if all of the unclude entries are like places that humanity colonizes in the book? or just things in the solar system, for example. I think that's quite likely, and this actually looks like it might be moon as well, so this might be unclude. Don't think I'll go for that just yet. But yeah, seems plausible anyway. What I wanted to look at was... Okay, so one answer that I did kind of off screen was this one. So salt produced by sickness in Heart of You. Now I used my secret weapon that I bring out when it's needed, which is a crossword dictionary. Basically just to look at the list of different types of salt. It's a useful thing sometimes when you know the answer is probably something you've not heard of. And so I looked for the 6-letter ones that could fit in this alphabetical order, and basically I'll tell you now the one that it is, and I'll explain why it works, is malate. And the reason it works, first of all, remember that we got this W by making you into we. And sickness, in this case, is the word mal, which we see here, it comes from French and it means sickness. And then the rest of the word is 8. And this took me a minute, but that is the middle of the word water, which is kind of a euphemistic term for, well, urine, wee, so the heart of wee. So that's where malate comes from. Actually, I should add this in up here. I'll just do it in blue. Right. Yeah, so that's where we are. I was thinking about we should focus maybe on these ones where we suspect the letter movements are coming from. So we thought that this was where the R was going to come from, making this acre. I think Acer might also be a word. Race is more likely. So this feels like probably that the definition is an apple variety. It could be apple, but apple variety feels like a natural thing to be like the definition. It begins with R or S, maybe more likely to be S. R, sorry. If it began with S, it would have to be SA, and then only a small number of letters that come before G. More restricted. If it begins with R, this was what I was thinking. Most of race would be RAC, so it could begin with that. I can't think of an apple that begins with that. We could have a synonym for race. Okay, 1 minute. I've got an idea. Planted can be set. So yeah, russet is a variety I've heard of, and that makes sense because race can be rush. So take most of that, you get the RUS, and then set goes on that. So russet. I'll double check that this is a variety of apple. Yeah, russet apple comes up. Yeah. So a reddish brown variety of apple. Okay, so that actually works nicely. And I'll mark in the R coming from that. Don't know where it will go in the grid, but let's see. Oh, you know what's interesting? Thinking about Mars, I do notice here this could be Venus, and this could alongside Moon here. That's quite tempting. I'm going to write that. We'll keep in mind that it could be wrong, but I mean, actually, what else could go here? If this is clued, it's a 5 entry, so we said it needs to come from a 6 or a 7, but there are no 6s or 7s that can begin with V, so this, I think this will be unclued. Yeah, I think we can write that in actually. Yeah, nothing else can begin with V, so I'm going to mark this as, well, I'm going to mark this as being unclued. I think we know that's correct. And it being unclued, yeah, I think from what we've seen, I think Venus is just almost certainly correct, basically. Okay. Think about what this would be, because if this one is clued, then it's what is the, it needs the R from parks. Do we have a 5 that has an R and that would end in an I? Torsi. Yeah, let's put that in. And that's quite useful because this one here, I think we didn't have anything that worked for it. So it's something we've not worked out yet. But it begins with T. So what does it have to be? Looking at this, it has to be a 7. So, okay, so it's a 7 with 2 A's being removed. Where is that 7? Where's the clue? Here, critically examined stories in Italian Hamlet. We're getting test N with 2 A's put in it. So critically examined could just be test. Oh, this is a word I've heard before. Anna, A-N-A, has come up before. And I'll just double check its definition. So yeah, the bottom definition here, an Anna, or is it a plural? I don't know. Yeah, a plural noun, are a collection of someone's table talk or of gossip, literary anecdotes or possessions. So, stories. So hold on, so we've got test Anna, I think is the answer. And then it's just Italian Hamlet is the definition. So, is test Anna in the dictionary? No. Okay, I mean, then it's quite possibly we're just dealing with an actual place. Actually, I'll search Testana, Italy. Okay, it's a human settlement in Italy. I guess it's just very small, so it can be considered a hamlet. That's a bit of a weird one. You wouldn't normally see something that you wouldn't be expected to have heard of before coming up as a proper noun in one of these. I think it's a bit cheeky, but I guess it was maybe just the only thing that fitted. I mean, fine. It is what it is. Okay, so we've got that one out of the way. I might just write it in here so we can keep track. And I'll tick it off as well. Okay, what to do next? I guess I'd like to get this one that's round on this side. Now, what I'm thinking, this is probably moon. Actually, can we rule out it being... No, in theory, there's a 5-letter word that could begin with M. So, can't conclusively rule out that being there. If it is unclued, then if this is clued, then it needs an A taken out. And this is a 6-length entry, so it's a 7-letter clue. So it's the one beginning with S. Where is that? Oh, the Greek jar. Okay, and it's got a TM in it. And an A. It could be TAM though instead. Oh, and this is where we figured the G might come from, because you can say what one may sing. Okay, like song, I guess. Okay, what are we dealing with there? There's just things that could mean multiple things here. Covers could be a synonym for something, or it can mean something covers something. It could be a wordplay device. Round, similarly, can mean backwards or going round, or like the letter O. If it's sing, if what one may sing is song, and that goes backwards, we do end up with something ending in nos, which is very Greek. But it doesn't give us any of this T or M, so maybe that comes from what we've got left. So like covers. Well, if song goes backwards, then round comes later, so I guess everything before it must be going round, so covers would also be backwards. Mats, I guess. So you could have, yeah, okay, and we expected an A, so if you take the A out of that, you get stam. We've got too many letters. Oh, but we have a briefly in here, so maybe the either briefly covers or briefly what one may sing. Stamnos? Sounds very Greek. Stamnos is a word, and it's an ancient Greek short-necked jar. So we got there. Where is it? Here. Oh, that's the wrong colour. So Stamnos, and yeah, so sign is sing, and we get our G. That gives us the outward urge. Nice. Okay. Oh, and I'll write it up here as well. This doesn't need to be very clear, just to make sure we know we have got all of the 7s now, like, available to us to use. I don't know where to look in the grid. Like, we haven't actually got loads of letters from there. I mean, oh yeah, I should probably fill in Stamnos before moving on. So the A is extra, and that's the A. Oh yeah, and this then confirms that this has to be unclude because we need a gap for the A. So let's do that, and then yeah, if this is unclude, then it's going to have to be moon. Maybe I'll just look down at this column here, because this is a 6 entry, which means it comes from a 7. So what ends with TS potentially? Adjusts. Okay, nothing else. I'm going to tick Stamnos off. Adjusts. Okay, so then after Harris, what letters can we have? So we can have R, I, S can be in here somewhere. Then we can get to J, O. Adjust doesn't have an O. Does have a J. You can't remove the S because that, well, we have an S in there and there's 2 of them. It would become too short. And it doesn't have an I, so actually it has to be the J. So we get A, D, U, S, T, S. Okay, and this means that John actually does start in the top left, which is at least, you know, a fairly satisfying way for it to be set up. So, okay, let's tick off adjusts. That looks correct. Is this, what is this? This is a 5. So do we have a 6 or a 7 that could go there? Could be this 6, it begins with an S, but it's not stench. And there's no 5 that could go there. So it could be this, which one would this be? R to S. What is this being a 6? Have I missed one out that I've just not written there? Oh, russet. I didn't write russet there. My mistake. Okay, so this, let's switch colour. That's russet, which can't go there. So I think this has to be unclude. So what can this be? I mean, just space, maybe? I'll put that in. Could be wrong, but I don't know what else is going to go there. So, like, I guess humans went out to space, as well as the Moon and the Mars and Venus. Why not? Okay. I think we just keep moving up around the grid. So HAR. Oh, actually, because we have the J now, we know that the R, I, and S all have to go here. So we're filling in a 5. So we need this to have a R and a U. So we have russet. And that's the only option. Nice. So russet can go in. Took it off, so we don't have to read that. Really difficult to read writing anymore. What is this? This is another 5 entry. It needs to have a D and an I. Could be deists. Could be this next one along. If it begins with D. We've used display. So yeah, one of those two. Well, so let's just try deists for now because it fits. No point, there's no point waiting and kind of hoping that the other one won't fit the pattern because there's a good chance it won't. So worth putting in just to try it. Okay. So if we were to carry on the pattern round, I can't think of a thematic word that could go in this second column. So if it is clued, then it would need to be an O. It's Aesop. So yeah, this feels like things might start moving relatively quickly. Now we've got so much in the grid. This one, hiss has to be. And we need an H. That's all the 4 clues used. I just noticed I've used torsi over here. So I hadn't ticked it off, that's all. This looks like it's going to be stench, right? And we need an N, so yeah. So we'll put that in. Getting very close to the finish line here. This... Oh, this is an 8, so we know this is unclued. That's easy. So we've got this is the unclued 8. We've done a 5, a 5, a 4, and a 4. Is that not just all of the unclued? Are there any others? I've forgotten now. There was an 8, a 7. We still need a 7. This 8, what is it going to be thematically? Oh, it's got to be asteroid. Yeah, got to be that. Okay, so now anything that's not a 7, we know needs to be clued. So we can say we need to have John. This is a 7, so this might be clued. Are there any other 7s? This one could be the unclued 7. That being said, the clued 7 is going to come from this 8 that begins with S, so probably is this, but I mean, maybe not. So WYNDH and a space somewhere in there. So then we've got A, M, P, A, I think we can place for sure. Okay, that's pretty useful. Oh, you know what? What's this one in the top corner here? So this is a 3. So what's this coming from? A, I, and an S. Okay, there's nothing we've got so far, I don't think. So it has to be this A here, which is this adult monkey absorbing shout that's very musical. Oh, but we said this was absorbing south. Okay, so an adult, the monkey. So with an S going in. So what's our monkey then? It's either going to be SAI, ASI, or AIS. So is SAI, is that a monkey? It is, the capuchin monkey. So altogether we get ASI? No, what do we get? This is a 5. Oh, wait. So it's, no, we need to add... Oh, so that was just kind of lucky, because there are actually 2 S's that have been removed. So we've A and Psi, and then another S. So where's if the S goes just next to the first S, that's a word, and it means very in music. Okay, we kind of fluked our way to there by mistakenly thinking we needed to add 1 S. We actually had to add 2 S, but we found our monkey. We get Asai. I'll write that there, and I will take it off to keep track. Let's see. Well, okay, so yeah, let's just keep trying to work around the grid, I think. So we've got a 6 entry, so it's going to come from a 7 clue that's got a W in it. So that's meadows. Okay. This one is a 4 entry, so it's going to come from a 5, and it's got a Y in it, so it could be needy. But actually, it could be this as well. We don't have any letters yet, so that's a bit too keen to put that straight in. What if we jump to this one on this side? So this is another 5. So it comes from a 6 or a 7 with an E and an A. This could be, no, I was going to say malates, but the E's in the wrong place. Oh, nettles. No, not nettles, not with an A. Ugh. Is it really another one we've not got? I guess they have to come somewhere. Oh, okay, I confused myself because this one here, it doesn't have to begin with a D, it can be anywhere from D to H. This one might begin with an E. Come back to it, we can probably get some letters for it, so don't need to figure it out just yet. Okay, this one is a 5 entry that needs an A and an M, a 6 or a 7. Right, so this is malate. No, wrong colour again. Malate, like that. This one is a 4 entry, so it comes from a 5 and it needs to have a P, and we've used Aesop. Could be this one we don't have yet, or it could be aptly, so let's just come back to it in a minute. This one in the middle row here, this is a 5 entry, needs these letters. Surely we can fill this one in. Rhodey fits, so yeah, we can put that one in at least. So the, oh sorry, no, the A is what's being taken out, so this is Rod. I, okay. What is this here? This is a 6, so we know this one is clued. It's a 6 that looks like that, so it comes from a 7. This is where nettles is. So this being clued, it has to be an N or a D. It's not D, so it's the N. So this is the unclued one. So this is our last unclued entry here. So what is this? Oh, okay, so why not station then? Because we've got space, so this is actually kind of making space station across 2 clues. Yeah, like that. We've got another letter in this one here, and I remember the option that we had was, yeah, aptly, so it will be that. I should be taking some stuff off. Malate, Rhodey, aptly. So what's left? We need... So this here Actually, we can put in the W and the H here. So this 7 here, this will be the 8 that we've not got, beginning with S. This one here will be the, well, okay, we need a 5 and a 6, and they're going here and here. Okay, let's just look at the first one then. So this one, 4 letters. So maybe is it this? Let's just look at the first one here. So if it's a 6, so, okay, I'm just thinking a bit hard about this. It needs to, if it's in one of these 4 slots, then it needs to lose 2 letters. So it has to have 2 Y's or 2 D's. Possible, but not very likely. If it's here, then it just needs to lose and have 1 A in it. So where's the A going in this? Eat something? Oh, actually, before we do that, we still need to put needy in the grid in one of these spots. So it's going to go here, where the D is being taken out. That's pretty useful. Oh, we used deists as well. I just didn't take it off. Yeah, so the 3 we haven't got are the 3 we need to do. Okay, so if this is this French Orient worried thing, an A going into this somewhere, 8 can mean worried. Like what's eating you is what's worrying you. So something ate you, it worried you. Right, okay. Lands, your lands could be your estate. So I think this is estate. And the reason is that est is, I think, French for east. So French Orient would be est, and then 8, and we get estate. And that fits there. Just going to write that here for completion's sake. And this then is an S. Where is the short word that we need to do? That is between I and M. Italy to eliminate source of malts. So is it an I from Italy? Is what we kind of suggested earlier. If we put the Y back in. Okay, so eliminate could be slay. Then you get Islay. I know that is a place. Is that somewhere that malts tend to come from? Islay single malts. Seems, yeah, a specific type of Scotch Islay. Okay, nice. So got Islay, and then the only thing left. Well, actually, we know that this is an I now. So why don't we put it in, and then just figure out where the hell the H goes in this thing. The clue was, what was it? Counterfeit coin. Oh, so counterfeit could be sham. Is a shamisen a thing then? It is a Japanese guitar-like instrument. So, shamisen, counterfeit, sham. So we'll secure 1 would be the I, and then a sen, is that a Japanese coin? A monetary unit of Japan, there we go. So, sham, sen, taking an I inside will give us a guitar-like instrument there in Japan. I think that's everything. There we go, solved that puzzle. That was really interesting. We found the theme really early, which helped a lot. It kind of meant we didn't get a big kind of crescendo to a sudden discovery of the theme, which you sometimes get, but it's a different style, I guess. So if you've never seen those before, yeah, you probably found some of that a bit mysterious. I hope I made things a bit clearer than they might have been. It's just an iterative process of solving them, seeing other people solve them, and you just gradually get better at these things. That's how I got to the point of being able to solve these puzzles by myself. Hopefully other people can do the same. If you're more familiar with these puzzles, I wonder what you thought about my process, if I was missing a lot of obvious things, if there were other strategies you were thinking of that I wasn't taking, because I'd love to know. I want to get better at these as well as you. So if you enjoyed this, come back next time for more crosswords. I'm sure we'll do another listener at some point soon. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.